Well, hi there everyone and welcome. A lot of times I use my Thrive Life ingredients just in everyday cooking. Today I need to make cookies because we're going to Aunt Marcia's tonight for a family Christmas party and I need to bring cookies. So I thought I'm just going to film this and show y'all how I do it. Thrive Life raspberries are fantastic. They're delicious in lots of different things. This is just one of the many ways I use our Thrive Life fruit. You could use other fruits. You could do blueberries. You could probably do peaches. I like raspberry thumbprint cookies because I think they have a really nice kind of Christmas look to them. Now I've made this dough recipe. This is kind of like a shortbread dough. I've made this in both the gluten-free flour and the regular flour, and they're both delicious. Now while that dough is refrigerating and cooling down and kind of tightening up, we're going to make the raspberry filling. Thrive Life fruits are freeze-dried, right? So you have to add the water back into them for them to soften up. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just adding a bit of sugar and some water, and once they hydrate, they act just like fresh raspberries would act. You can smush them up. I used a potato masher, but you're kind of right here, what you're doing is you're just sort of making a raspberry jam. And of course you could use regular raspberry jam out of a jar. That's what most recipes call for. In fact, that's what my mom's recipe that I am using here, that's what it called for, was jam. She used to make these out of apricot jam, which are delicious. But I wanted to show you, like, if you don't have jam, you could still make these cookies if you have Thrive Life on your shelf. So anyway, that's what I'm doing here. And then I used a cookie scoop. Those cookies are about the size of a golf ball. The raspberries, I have made them several ways. I have made them with completely straining out all of the seeds and just having just the raspberry essence, kind of the jam to put into the cookie. I've also made them leaving all of the seeds in, and I prefer to strain out the most of the seeds and leave maybe only a quarter of the amount of seeds in, because that way it's identifiably a raspberry thumbprint cookie. I like a few seeds, but I really don't like all of the seeds. So anyway, that's what I did. I strained out most of the seeds. And then I used my wooden spoon handle to poke the holes into the cookies in order to hold the raspberry jam. So this is the consistency of the raspberry jam. It thickens up really nicely. There's no cornstarch, no pectin. It just thickens up on its own as you cook it. Now I took the extra step and put my raspberry jam into a Ziploc bag because I kind of wanted to pipe it into that little hole there. I don't have a piping bag, so I told y'all I am not much of a baker. This is kind of a stretch for me to do this much, but it was a lot of fun. It came out of the corner of the bag just really easily. You can just spoon this in. It's no big deal. You could definitely do that. It just sometimes gets on the sides of the cookies, and I wanted it to be kind of nice since we are taking this to a party tonight. You'll go ahead and bake these at 350 degrees for 13 to 15 minutes. I left mine in there 15 minutes. They do spread out just a little bit, but not too much. And the raspberry jam pretty much stays put into those little holes that you created. So it turns out really, really pretty. Now, you do have to let these cool completely before you do anything to them. Cool them first on the cookie sheet because they can be kind of crumbly, especially if you use the gluten-free flour. They're quite crumbly. So let them cool for a while on the sheet before transferring to a wire rack. I just wanted to show you what they looked like up close and then what the underside looked like. See, the raspberry jam just stays put. It really doesn't leak through or anything. It's pretty wonderful. And y'all, the taste of the raspberry jam is amazing. Now, I like to dust these with powdered sugar because I think it looks kind of, like snowflakes or something, but you don't have to do that. These are delicious without the powdered sugar. The longer you let these sit, the more the powdered sugar will kind of dissolve into the jam. This is only about 10 or 15 minutes after I dusted them. The cookies were completely cool, okay? If you don't wait for the cookies to cool, you won't be able to see the powdered sugar at all, even on the cookie part. But if you wait a good amount of time and the cookies are completely cooled, then you'll be able to still see the powdered sugar on the cookie part. And then after about 2 hours or so, it will all completely dissolve into the raspberry jam, and this is what they look like. So isn't that gorgeous? And guys, these taste amazing. I think you're going to love them. This is a family favorite, and I really do hope you give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I will leave the full recipe in the video description box below, as well as my shopping link. Well, y'all have a very Merry Christmas. And until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.